vessel on the river. We are licensed by the Maritime Coast Guard Agency. We have a radio to communicate with the Port of London Authority, all emergency services, and all other traffic you see around us, folks. You and safe hands, me and him have been working on this river for many, many years now. For a few years, I've been on these boats, sightseeing boats. I've got to learn the buildings and the history. I don't mind pointing a few things out. If you don't want me, I can press play on the audio guide and you can have that instead. Do you want the audio guide? Give me a rest. I've got to stand here in the sun. We don't do well, us English people, in the sun. I'll complain all day long, mate, don't worry about that. We are very good at complaining. We are the best. We're down to a fine art now. Wave to the people up there, look at them. On the wet, it's a lovely place to visit. Not just the Royal Festival Hall, but all along the Thames here, lots of entertainment, lots of art, loads of pubs, bars. It's very busy on days like today. Sunny, warm. So along the south bank to your right, lots and lots to do and see. On your left, that stone obelisk, that is the oldest thing we'll see on our journey. It was made in Egypt over 3,000 years ago, given to us as a gift for our help defeating the French. There's been two bunnies over there. I used to work in this company. I used to work at that company. Absolute party cruises. No commentaries that we do on there. No one's listening, they're far too drunk. I say they're very, very popular, those boats, and for the last couple of years, that's where I was, on those party boats. I've been here for a couple of months, trying to make a commentary, put a few words together. So I'm not a commentator, I'm a King Edward. Does anyone get that? Neither did I, it took me ages to work out. Waterloo Bridge, we call it the Ladies' Bridge, because it was built by the ladies in the Second World War. It gets better. Not only is it London's longest bridge, 1/4 mile, it's also the only bridge built on time and within budget. A big well done to the ladies of London. Well done, girls. Here on the right, can't see much of it, but that's our National Theatre. The main theatre inside, named after Laurence Olivier, who is the founder of the building. We have some lovely beaches here in London, folks. Truly some of the world's finest. What are you laughing at, darling? No respect. Come down here. You got about an hour or so. The tide is rising in London. The water is coming towards us from the North Sea. It floods in for 5 hours, and you can see the high tide mark, the green moss line along the river's wall. The rise and fall is about 7 meters on the average. It's a very fast flowing river. You can swim against the tide, nor do you want to go into the water. Where it comes from the North Sea, it is freezing cold all year round. Freezing cold, folks. It's not fun to go in the Thames. Over on the left, the big white ship, the Wellington. They used to belong to the New Zealand Navy. Today, it is a floating livery hall here in London for the Honourable Company of Master Mariners. To become a member, you need to be a captain of a boat out at sea for at least 15 years. The head of that club is Prince Charles. And sometimes of an evening, we often see him stumbling out there on the front deck, reenacting that famous scene from the Titanic. If you want to see the drawings, they're on the internet. Can I get that joke? He got it. Left and right, I bet you don't see any adverts here along the river. It'd be a royal highway. You're not allowed to advertise products along the Thames, which is nice, isn't it? It's a nice little escape from it all. The only thing we do get is on top of the red building, with the OXO Tower, OXO in the tower. It's where they made the beef stock cube many years ago. Originally it was a power station, then it was taken over by the food company that makes the beef stock cube. And to get around the advertising ban, the strict laws, they had their logo cleverly disguised as the windows. And that is the only advert you'll see along the river. It's now mainly unaffordable houses in the centre, some fancy shops on the ground floor, and the Harvey Nicks restaurants, one of London's most fanciest and expensive places to eat, folks. It's not cheap to take your missus up the Oxford Tower, but so if you're going to afford it, definitely do it. Over on the left, the construction sites, all part of the new sewer system we're having built. The Tideway Tunnel project is the biggest civil engineering project this city has ever seen. The old sewer system, built about 150 years ago, going along the river to your left, it's too small to pipe, and it simply can't handle the sheer amount of waste that's being raised by the 10 million or so Londoners living here today. The Blackfriars Bridges, built in the reign of Queen Victoria. Opened by Queen Victoria, say 1869. The Road Bridge. Next up, the Railway Bridge. In the middle are these red columns. The remains of the first ever railway bridge on the Thames. You'll see the top part is not there. Taken off as it become dangerous, starting to fall apart. It was becoming old. No one's looking after it. The columns, they were so well built into the foundations that if they was taken out, it would disturb the foundations of this bridge. They used the columns closest to the bridge to make this bridge wider. They made it bigger, all for the Olympics back in 2020. They spent on that bridge, making it wider and building a roof on top. You may know it from one of the Mission Impossible movies. Tom Cruise, who runs directly across that bridge, making it over to the south side. A lovely pub there, folks, the Founder's Arms to your right. The building on the right with a tall chimney, a power station years ago. It's a free art gallery today, the Tate's Modern. It's not really my cup of tea. Some things in there are okay, but if you want some proper art, you want to go up to Millbank. Behind you, about a mile or so up, the Tate Britain, yeah? Some proper art up there, folks, the Tate Britain. On the left, St Paul's Cathedral, the Dome, and the Golden Cross, dominating London's skyline since the year 1710. The architect is buried inside the building, Sir Christopher Wren. Also buried there, the Duke of Wellington, Lord Nelson, and Alexandra Fleming. He discovered penicillin. We used to get a lovely full picture of St Paul's from the river until they stuck this thing in the way, the Blade of Lights, the proper name for the bridge, designed by Norman Foster. We call it the Wobbly Bridge. It's like to move on its opening day.
Oh yeah, it did.
Christopher Wren, you see that building with the flag? Yeah, we know that flag. The beige building with a red dot at the bottom. I might be able to see it down there, but it's a little red dot. 49 Cardinals Wharf. That's where Sir Christopher Wren lived. He lived inside that building as he watched St Paul's being constructed. And of course you have the Globe Theatre. It was opened over 20 years ago, and every summer, during the summer, they do reenact the famous Shakespearean plays inside. There's no electricity inside the building, so they have no speakers, no lights, no special effects, and there's no roof. It's open to the elements. So check the weather before you go, because if you're in there and it starts to rain, you'll get wet. They don't stop the performance, but as the old saying goes, the show must go on. For the two of you, it's about £10 to watch a show. That is bloody cheap, isn't it, folks? £10 for live entertainment in London That is very, very cheap. How's the old commentary going? Alright? It's alright, isn't it? I'm not a professional guide, folks. So if I do make any mistakes along the way, do not hesitate to tell the person you're sitting next to, okay? Don't tell me, hold on. What? You'll find me here in a few hours, folks. The Anchor Tavern, a lovely old pub along the river that dates back to 1615, 400 years old, plus a little more. Mentioned in the famous diary of Dr. Johnson and Samuel Pepys. It's also where Shakespeare used to drink whilst performing in one of the many theatres here at Southwark. You can see the tide rippling around the columns, so you're going against the flood tide. If you come back on the river tonight at around 10 o'clock, you'll be at high water here in the capital. Years ago, ships would tie up to these buildings on the rights. When the tide was high enough, they could get in nice and close to unload cargo, goods. No more shipping arrives here today, at least not in this part of London. These are now multi-million-pound homes. New office buildings to your left, look. Office workers, they finished enjoying a nice beer. Got the old oyster shed there. They're about 8 years old, these new buildings. Very, very new here in London. Ahead of us, we have a famous bridge. You may not recognise it, but this is London Bridge. The history goes back 2,000 years. The first built by Romans. They invaded Britain, they came up this river. Here, it gets very shallow all of a sudden. On a good spring low tide, it's about 5 feet deep. These boats you're on now, they can't travel up the river when the tide is that low. We simply get stuck in the mud. Look on the right, there's a picture. You might want to take the name carved from the stone, London Bridge. There you are, folks. Does anyone know where the old London Bridge is? Shout it out, because no one believes me when I say it. That's not shouting out, mate. Lake Havasu in Arizona. Look into the Great Fire of London. That was designed by Sir Christopher Wren.
Oh, no, that's the story.
Tower Bridge is ahead of us. We will get you closer to that bridge. We will look after you, folks. Do not worry. We'll get you close. We'll turn. We'll get this wheel box out of the way, and you get you a nice photo, okay? All right, just bear with us. We'll be down here in a couple of minutes. The Shard to your right, 1,000 feet tall. When built in 2012, it was the tallest building in Western Europe. The observation deck near the top, I think it's the 72nd floor, you get a lovely view looking out over London. A little bit better than the London Eye, it's about the same price. If you go up there, it's a little bit higher than the Eye, not as tall as the Shard. Does anybody know how much it costs to go to the top of the Sky Garden, or go to the Sky Garden? It's free, you do know. These know, folks. Did you know it's free to go up there? There's no charge to go up there. You can see people up there. You have to book in, but there's no cost. On the right, take a picture of the only Union Jack in London. That flag, anywhere else, it's a Union flag. They must be flown from the Jack staff of a Royal Naval ship to be an official Union Jack. The HMS Belfast is now a museum. She was built in Belfast, launched in 1938 from the Harland and Wolff shipyard, the same place that built the Titanic. I think she's still up, but I can still see people wandering around, all around the radar deck. There are 9 decks to explore. A lot of ladders climb up and down. Half hour ago when this cup of tea, blimey. Gotta look after the captains first. On the right, the round building is City Hall, the office for the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. He took over from Boris Johnson, who just yesterday resigned as being Prime Minister. God knows who we have next. Now the Tower of London lies there to your left. Take a picture, a nice photo you get from the river of the famous fortress, our most historic, oldest tourist attraction. The oldest part is the tall square tower in the centre. That is called the Norman's Keep. Years ago, that is where they kept all the boring people called Norman. They call that the Norman's Keep because the stone was brought over from Normandy, France, as it was built for William the Conqueror, the Frenchman who defeated our old English king. He took over and he had the tower built as a fortress to protect him and his people. We'll turn the boat now, please, Captain. A nice picture you'll get of the bridge. What time is it? This evening, at 7:30, Tower Bridge will be opening. There'll be a bridge lift. It opened earlier today. It opened once more, at least I know, at 7:30. I doubt you'll be able to go up there at that time, but you see the spans at the top? Yeah, it's already closed. You can see the glass in the centre. Yeah, that's open to the public, part of the Museum of the Bridge. They call it the Tower Bridge Exhibition. You can go up there, you can look down, and you'll see all the traffic. If you time it right, you'll see the bridge open and a ship sail underneath you. A word of warning for the ladies, make sure you've got a pair of trousers on that day. Honestly, there's a geezer standing on that bridge, looking up all day long, with the biggest pair of binoculars you've ever seen. Although if you go today, you'll be alright. He's not there, no, he's not there. He's behind me, staring at the boat. The RNLI, the busiest lifeboat station in the United Kingdom, out on a call. We have over 600 calls every year for the Royal National Lifeboat Institute. It's about 2 a day.
Cheers, buddy. Oh, shit.
Up again. We're crossing the river over to the London Eye. Ladies and gents, we'll be making a quick stoppage and then we'll continue down to Tower Pier. There are no boats to Greenwich. No more boats to Greenwich today from this company, City Cruises. It was about an hour ago, so there's no more boats to Greenwich. Right? It's only down to Tower Pier. And then back to here, Westminster. The bar's open throughout the journey. Tea, coffee, ice creams. Possibly still on sale. Remain seated until we come to a full stop. Is everybody happy?
Yes.
Is anybody going to faint on me out there?
No.
You better not, mate. I'm going home in a minute. Last thing I want is a load of paperwork, alright? So if you are feeling up, you go downstairs and cool off, alright?
And I think there's some coming down the other staircase.
हिला नहीं पाने वाले हो बस अभी देखिएगा अभी देखिएगा तुम हमसे